Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped, back for another OPTC video, and in today's video, it's that time of the month again where we rate every single legend in the game for the mid to sort of end game players, as well as the early game players. Now, in these videos, I do like to try and put every legend on a spectrum and put them in a tier for you guys so you guys can understand what are the best characters in the game, what characters should I be looking at with leveling up, and obviously with Anniversary around the corner, a lot of new players are coming to the game. So I will probably do another one of these a little bit earlier. As you can see, I am back from Japan, so I had an amazing time, but back to normality, and back to this ugly mug. So, in today's video, we're going to go through last month's tier list, and we only have 3 new legends to talk about. No new level limit break batch. Interesting enough there. So, we're going to do a bit of a thorough scour, as this will be our last tier list before we sort of overhaul the system. Every year I do like to start fresh with Anniversary because a lot of new players are coming to the game, and that way we can go through every single legend, sort of give you guys a better idea of what is worth your time and what is worth leveling up if you are new. But if you are an endgame player, don't stress, as you guys are probably aware. I do like to do an endgame tier list as well, where I focus on Kizuna, Treasure Map, and PvP. They're the sort of 3 big ones, but in today's video, we're focusing everywhere. You've got point farming events, you've got not really PvP, but like PvP, Kizuna 10-star, Super Boss Kizuna, Treasure Map, Forests, regular garbs challenges, regular content, story mode, all of that stuff comes into play, and there's a reason that everything is on or in the tier that I put them in, and I'll try and touch on that. But if you guys don't know, I do have a bunch of other videos. Go check them out. Link for the playlist will be in the description, and if you agree, disagree, let me know in the comment section below. I love to have conversations with a lot of players about this kind of stuff, and it opens my eyes and a lot of other people's eyes in the comment section as well to what characters can do and how much fun they can have with said character. At the end of the day, if you enjoy the character, use the character. A lot of these characters can complete 99.9% of the game. Some characters just do it faster, stronger, more reliable, and more fun, and that's what we're focusing on today. So with that said, let's dive in. Alright, so here it is, last month's tier list, and we are going to make some changes. We're gonna shuffle some things around, but as you guys can see here, I do have the top 10. These, in my opinion, are your top 10 most valuable characters, or the most powerful characters, or characters that see a lot of play in majority of the game. They can do things these characters can't, but they are all sort of the best of the best, in my opinion, and we'll quickly touch on them as well. But God tier, these characters are so close to top 10, it's not even funny. You could easily use them. They work exceptionally well. The S tier all-rounders, they work exceptionally as captains. They work exceptionally as subs. You can use them in a multitude of different ways, and they work very, very nicely. Your S tier captains, these characters pretty much work best as captain. However, you can use them as a sailor, but they just shine the best when you run them as a leader. The S tier level limit break 5, if you are a newer player, this is a little bit tricky because this requires you to have 10 copies of each of these units, which is a lot, but for endgame players, it gives you an idea of where these characters sit. S tier subs, these are your sailors. These are like your best sailors in the entire game. And then after that, you have the A tier, which obviously is just weaker than the S tier. B tier, which is weaker than the A tier. You have meh, like level and break meh, like don't worry about that. Niche, or when content required, so like something like Kaido for early players, Brook for his revive mechanic, XP with Jack, all that good stuff. Jack, honestly, though, like, he's so good with his level limit break that we should probably talk about that. Brook's level limit break is still really good too, but let's be real, you're only using these characters when you need their abilities. Needs a 6+, these characters are in the works for a 6+, or a level limit break, one of the two. And finally, the support characters, if you can see these and you're a newer player, just max out their supports and just let them sit there, because it's pretty much all you're going to use them for. So, yeah, taking a look at this tier list, I don't think anyone's changed. Jack and Brook, like, they have very good level limit breaks. They would probably be an A for Brook and an S for Jack. But, like, again, I am only ever using these guys for XP and for, like, the revive, so probably wouldn't need them for anything else. As for B tier, I don't think anyone should move up. Barto Cavendish got a 6+. One second. That could have been awkward. Would have almost forgot about Barto Cavendish. So we're gonna take them off the tier list. As you can see down here, all these characters are kind of characters that already have 6+, or I've sort of doubled up. So like, don't worry about any of these characters. These 4 down here, they're the ones that we're focusing on today. Looking at the A tier subs, yeah, I don't think anyone can move up. Should anyone move down though? That is the big question. I think nowadays you could probably argue to me that versus Big Mom is probably just a B tier captain, and honestly, Kaido versus Kaido nowadays is pretty meh if I'm honest. Or you just use him like for like speed farming when content requires. You're just never using that unit anymore. If I'm honest, you're just never using him. These level limit break characters, I think we need to like move some characters out. I think whilst Zeph is pretty cool, I think he's pretty meh. You kind of need to have like Iron for him to work, which kind of sucks. Enel, I just showcased on Enel. He was a lot of fun, but honestly, he's pretty meh. Marco, pretty meh. Dofi's pretty much only good in Rumble, but I think he's still very, very good in regular play. This Law for treasure map's still really good. Sanji's honestly, he's okay, but like nothing crazy. Stampede Luffy's really good. The Fuji's, honestly, these Fuji's, they're both meh. I think one of them's a chain locker, which is like dead. This Judge, pretty meh. And honestly, this Robin, she's pretty meh as well. As for Kizaru, no, Kizaru got color affinity. Shirahoshi's actually pretty good. Mihawk, I don't love Mihawk. Mihawk's pretty meh. And the Jinbeis are okay. I think I'm okay with them being there. As for A tier level limit break, I think Komurasaki's, they can definitely go together. What are we looking here with these Sabos? Sabos, they're okay. I think the this Zoro is pretty much only good for his Grand Voyage. This Judge can probably come down. He's good, but like he's okay. As for Katakuris, these Katakuris are really good actually. Like really, really good. Nami, she's pretty how you doing? How you going? Same with this Zoro. Like he's good, but like he's just not where these other characters are, especially Kuzan. Like look at these two Kuzans up here. Zoro's not on the same level as those Kuzans. No way, Jose. This Katakuri can go down because I think this one's just way better. And where's Robin? Did I put Robin in meh? Yeah, okay, good. Good. As for AT captains, what can we do here? Honestly, I'm going to bring Orochi down to B tier captain. He's good, but like, he's just not a character you're going to be using all that often. He's a lot of fun as a sub. You can maybe argue to me he's an A tier sub for something like Super Type Kaido, but like you're never using it. You're never using Super Type Kaido nowadays. Like this guy, he's dookie. Like he's dookie. Yeah, like if you're in a BT captain, I think these guys are pretty equal because you run them like hybrid, and that's kind of the best way to run them. As for other AT captains up here, I think Sengoku nowadays can be put into BT captain, mainly because like if this is like for newer players and mid game players, like whilst having all colors is good, it's so freaking annoying to do. And then running Mono Sai, you just have so many better options. It pains me to do it because I think that Sengoku is really fun. But Whitebeard, you could probably drop Whitebeard as well now. Maybe we could maybe drop Whitebeard. I think Perona's going to come down to A tier sub. Whilst Perona's really, really, really good, she's a chain locker again, and chain lockers are dead. But for mid game and end game, like middle game players, and for mid game and early game players, she's good. End game players, you'll never use Perona. She's a conditional booster, and she has a lot of conditions. But please, someone in the comment section, if you are a Perona stan, let me know where you've used Perona in the last decade, and we'll go from there. ST sub, Akainu still really good, but probably now an A tier captain. I think Ace is way better for regular play, so I think we just want to differentiate them a little bit. Everyone else here in A tier captain, they seem okay. They seem okay. Sasuke's probably seen his time. Verse Whitebeard actually is probably starting to get a little bit how you doing, you know? I think Verse Whitebeard can come down to like B tier captain. And Shanks, this Shanks can definitely come down to A tier sub. I think nowadays, while Shanks is still a lot of fun, he's really good. He's definitely dropped off quite a bit. Boa, I'm gonna put Boa down to A tier sub as well. She has the ability to give you an attack boost, or like until you take damage, but like Despair affects that, HP cuts affect that. Like, it's very hard to keep that attack boost at a level where you want it to be. So for that reason, I'm gonna drop her down, and then I think I'm gonna drop Smoothie into B tier captain. Yeah, definitely gonna drop her into B tier captain. Yeah, I think BT captain that's probably the best for Smoothie. She's just nowhere near as good as what these characters can provide. Honestly, I would love to just put Who's Who and just support because that's all I use him for. Same with this page one. This page one is just like mid as hell. All right. Any other S tier subs can move down? Yeah, I think we're okay. All right, let's take a look at the S tier level limit breaks because I think we've got a lot of clutter going on here. 3 lines. That is a lot. Frankie's amazing. Bullet's amazing. Corazon's amazing. These guys are amazing. Cat, Dog, Carrot, amazing. Sugar can come down to A tier level limit break. Very, very good, but definitely not an S tier. This Mihawk's awesome as well, but like I definitely overrated him when he first came out. Still very, very good. Don't get me wrong, but like definitely not an S tier like these other characters. Chopper can probably come down to A as well. Chopper kind of just does what he already did, but just in a better fashion, which is great. But it was nothing sort of like game-breakingly changing that like Garb did with he's now Boundary, and Carrot with the fact that she can set defense and go through all defensive effects. Kid's still really good. Rayleigh's still really good. The laws are great. Blackbeard's awesome. This Blackbeard though can probably come down. Still a great unit, and adding strength is awesome, but I think it's now time to sort of show that the power creep has changed him a little bit. As for everyone else here, I think I'm okay with that. Yeah, I think I'm okay with that. ST captains, we're going to bring Shanks down to S tier level in break 5. Whilst you mainly use him as a captain, he has shown how good he is elsewhere. Mainly because if he super swap, 2.25 times rainbow attack boost. His regular swap is great. PvP, he's a freaking demon in PvP. This guy is so good in PvP. And then as for the rest of these characters, Hina's great. Vivi's still great. Queen's still great. Dofi's amazing. Croc's amazing. Yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with all of that. Verse Kaido's like honestly on the border of like being dropped. ST all-rounder, I'm going to bring Killer down to ST captain. I think they're probably on the same par as Hawkins, what Hawkins does. Or if that's the case, bring Hawkins maybe down to ST sub. But he's got a good what's it called? He's got a good super type or super class, whatever he is. As for the rest of these characters, I think I'm pretty happy with. I think Robin can come down to S tier sub, because if you're using Robin, you are never using Robin as captain. Like I couldn't tell you the last time I used Robin as a captain. I think she's good enough to be a captain, but like if we're being like frank here, she's a sub. You're only ever using her for her like double conditional boost shenanigans. Still fantastic though. As for Neko, I'm going to make S tier captain, and I'm actually going to bring Dogstorm down to S tier all-rounder. I just, like, Dogstorm's so good for speed farming content, but nowadays, like, you can speed farm with so many characters. I love the Neko-Ino combination, but they're just starting to get power crept. It's just the way it is. It's just how things work. I'm going to bring Corazon and Law down as well. They're so fun, but you're pretty much only using them as a captain if you are going to run them, and you're only going to run them for the sense of just running them for funsies. Or if you need to. Perispero is so close to moving up for me. I think Perispero is an absolute demon. Rayleigh Gaban is great. They're a great sub. This Yamato I'm going to drop down just because I think the differentiation between the two Yamatos is this Yamato's way better. Free Spirit just makes him way better. Like, it makes her way better. And then as for my top 10, I love this Snake Man across the board. I would love to put a Sabo back up there, or even Roger. I think like those characters are just so valuable. But a character that I've been having a lot of fun with lately is this Luffy. I think this Luffy can probably scrape into the top 10. As an endgame player, I use him on as a sub. Limit Break expanding him gives him 11 turn cooldown, which is insanely easy to get, especially on turn 3 if you use the Mr. 3 support. He works great on macro teams. He's a fantastic unit for macro team for an endgame player. But for new players and mid-game players, he's an absolute god. Removes despair, tack down, paralysis. He does so much for new players. Like, so much. This guy has been great, but I cannot tell you the last time I used him. Like, honestly, I cannot. If you're a newer player and you have, like, let me know. I still think Tandem Kaido is still up there. Law's still up there. Ace Yamato's fantastic for newer players, as well as Grand Voyage. And then you have the Queens. Nami, the best unit in the game. Uta, second best unit in the game. The year before last, New Year's, Roger Whitebeard, Straw Hat Crew. Whichever way you want to cookie the crumble, or the crumble the cookie, you do you. But like for me, Whitebeard, Roger, 2 Grand Voyages, Probably the best, arguably the best PvP unit in the game. Don't get me wrong, Straw Hat Crew is up there too. Arguably best offensive switchability in the game, and Straw Hat Crew, fantastic special, fantastic final tap, and you guys know the rest. So that's going to be the tier list changes. I think I'm pretty happy with that. Like I said, this is probably the last month until we do like a big overhaul of the system, and we put together a new tier list. It's probably the same tiers. We kind of like break it down a little bit more. Or if you guys have any ideas for a new system, let me know in the comment section below. Or if there's something you guys want to see, let me know in the comment section below as well. So still happy with all of that. I think all these characters are fantastic. So there are some characters we're going to talk about today. We have 4 characters, and the first character is Barto Cavendish. Now, Barto Cavendish got a pretty interesting 6+. Whilst you're in their dual form base 6+, boosts attack of driven characters by 5 times, HP by 1.2, reduces damage by 30%, and makes strength, dex, and quick beneficial for driven. Pretty dookie. Honestly, pretty crappy captain ability. If you are in the single form of Barto, it's a 4.5 times attack, 1.2 HP, dex orbs matching, and 30% damage as long as you don't attack. Where Cavendish or Hakuba, driven get a 4.5 times attack boost. However, Hakuba gets the 4.75, 1.2 HP, and quick orbs are matching for driven. However, if you have them at level limit break 5, because they get a level limit break as well, in their dual form, they do a shitload more. They do so much more. In their single forms, they give 1 turn of cooldowns to driven. They both do that. They both give a 4.75 times attack boost and a 1.2 times HP. Very nice. However, Barto will make dex recovery tandem walls beneficial and 30% damage reduction if you don't attack with that character. And if you're a Hakuba, he boosts his own attack by 5.25, making quick recovery and tandem orbs beneficial for driven. So you can kind of change which orbs you guys have depending on who you are, as well as getting some damage reduction depending on who you are if you're running both of them at different times. The downside is you still have to run mono driven no matter what, no matter where we're talking or no matter where we're cooking. Level limit break of the duel is you get the 1 turn of cooldown, 5.25 attack to driven, 5.5 to their own character, so the dual form character. Boost HP of driven characters by 1.2 and reduces damage by 30% flat rate. Makes strength, dex, quick recovery tandem into matching orbs, and then recovers 0.5 recovery at the end of the turn for every perfect. If a crew member uses a special with % damage buff, replaces those buffs with a damage reduction proportional attack boost, which will overwrite damage reduction proportional attack boost in the same special. Boost the attack of all characters by 1 to 1.5 for 1 turn proportional to the % damage. So if you have a 50% damage reduction, you'll get a 1.5 times extra attack boost. If you can max it out at 99% damage reduction, you get a 1.99 times extra damage boost. That's just a passive ability in their dual form, which gives them a lot of extra damage. A lot of extra damage. So pretty cool stuff. The downside is with their captain, we are just talking like we're talking just driven here, and whilst driven are good, they are kind of like not where they used to be. So they did get a buffed special as well. They removed 6 times the threshold now, 100 times their attack in typeless damage. Reduced damage received over 3,000 by 97%, and then boost the attack of driven characters by 2.5 times for 1 turn, and then becomes Barto and Hakuba for 3 turns. If your crew has an orb amplification when the special is launched, it buffs it by 0.25. If you have them at level limit break 5, if you've taken 30,000 damage or more, you get a 2.25 times color affinity boost for 1 turn for driven characters. So again, all driven based, kind of annoying on that regard, but it is a lot of extra damage for the driven team and works quite nicely as their attack booster and the color affinity booster for the squad as well. Also, increasing an orb boost is quite nice because with their super switch now, they can actually give a level... with their super switch, they can give a driven characters a full border orbs as well as a 2 times orb boost. So that's kind of fun, as well as reducing damage by 50% and recovering 10% HP. If you just do the normal swap, it's 5% HP recovery, 25% damage reduction, and then boost their own orb by 2 times, giving themselves a matching orb. So with this character alone, you can get a 2.25 times orb boost to your crew, a full border orbs, a 2.5 times attack, and a 2.25 times color affinity. They kind of have the cat dog effect in terms of what they provide for their team. However, it's just for driven. Cat dog This guy up here does powerhouse slashes, cerebrals, and strikers. So infinitely better. Infinitely better. But Barto and Hakuba, they are a pretty interesting and decent unit. They're not like the craziest 6+ and level limit break going around. However, they are pretty good, and I'm going to slap them here in A tier level limit break 5. The next character we're going to talk about is the PvP legend Appu, the forgotten legend Appu. Appu finally got a legend, which is pretty interesting, and I think a PvP legend is very fitting. He's a shooter-driven int character, and his captain boosts the shooter and driven classes by 5 to 5.5, increasing each time you defeat an enemy up to 5 times, so that's where it maxes 5.5. Makes int bomb, super bomb beneficial for shooters and driven characters at the start of the fight, and then applies the following buff. Applies a tap limit and blindness immunity for 10 turns. Now, it's only for 10 turns, kind of annoying there, but it is what it is. Sailors makes bomb and super bomb matching for all characters, and then completely removes blind. His special makes perfect easy hit for 5 turns, changes all orbs of the top row and bottom row into super bomb, locks orbs for 1 turn, and adds 1.4 to the chain multiplier for 1 turn. If during that turn you hit 2 perfects, he's a 1.6 times chain multiplier on the next turn, and if you hit 3 perfects, he becomes a 2 times chain multiplier for 1 turn. Where I found this guy works the best is under the new, the worldwide anniversary ace character. Where is he? I think he's up here. This guy right here. This ace works exceptionally well with this, what's his name? Appu. Because you can basically do the shenanigans where you basically hit the Appu special or you hit the A special, and then you just hit the perfects, and you can just build that up to a 2 times, and then use Ace to give you that carryover effect, like on turn 2, and like you can do some pretty cool stuff with them. It's not like a be-all end-all combination, but I do like the effectiveness of what the character brings. As a support, goes on Basil Hawkins, Rogue, Beach, Blackbeard, and Kaido. Once per adventure, when inflicted with chain coefficient reduction or blindness, reduces chain coefficient or blindness by 3 turns. So, very similar to the Sai Markino ability, but for most of the worst generation that isn't like Luffy and like Kid, Law, the crew, that sort of stuff. In Rumble is where this guy shines. Obviously, he's a Rumble legend. He's designed to take down Sai. He does a lot of damage to Sai characters, and he works really, really well there. But as for regular play, he is a PP unit. No super type, no super class, no shenanigans like that. So unfortunately, this man does fall off quite a bit. And honestly, I can kind of only really see myself using this guy as a sub. I haven't even really used this guy ever. I haven't put him in content. I honestly don't even think he's that good, like, at all. Like, he's an interesting character, but I just don't think he is a fantastic character. Honestly, I feel like he's more of like an A tier sub. I feel like the super bomb and like the chain shenanigans, it's nice, but like I just don't really see where it's going to be like crazy like some of the other characters that we've had recently with recent releases. Moving on to Bonnie now, Legend Bonnie. I do like the Legend Bonnie. I think Legend Bonnie's really, really good, but she's kind of like a Y Legend. Another worst generation character, another member of the what's it called, the Supernovas. So Fighter, Free Spirit, and Sai. Her captain boosts Sai and Fighter characters by 5 times, 5.4 times if you have a recovery orb, and then boosts their HP by 1.2. Unfortunately, it's just Sai and Fighter, by the way. Makes recovery orbs beneficial for all characters and changes int orbs into recovery and makes perfects consume recovery orbs. If you have a recovery orb, when you attack with this character, increases the effects of color affinity by 0.5. Massive buff. Huge buff. Special inflicts all enemies with increased damage 1.5 times. Color affinity of Sai and Fighters by 2.25 to 2.75 for 1 turn, and depending on how many recovery orbs you'll use in the attacks, increases the orb effects of beneficial recoveries orbs by 2.25 for 1 turn. So the more recovery you eat, the better the color affinity, up to 2.75. You tap with her as a captain, it's a 3.25 color affinity, 1.5 times extra damage. You're tanky, you don't have negative orbs if running a full side team because int become recovery, and you can do some really, really cool stuff there. Her super special, which is she makes fighters into super fighters. You just need any of the worst generations on the crew, and her super special changes block orbs into recovery and sets the chain boundary at 2.75, maxing at 40 for 1 turn. So probably the best super class in the entire game. Just the downside, it's a super class. I wish it was a super type. If it was a super type, this would be so freaking good. Support goes on any of the worst generation once per adventure if you use the special. Makes recovery orbs beneficial for all characters and locks the chain at 2.5. Amazing support. Very, very good. I think Bonnie is actually an exceptional character. I think as a captain, she's definitely going to shine. I think she's absolutely phenomenal. In PvP, she's designed to take down Driven, which works exceptionally well with Quick and in teams and stuff like that, but I just haven't really found a way to make her work all that much. I think she is an absolutely phenomenal captain. Her super class is one of the best in the game. If you can run her as a captain and get that 3.25 color affinity, you can do some really, really cool stuff. However, I am just going to put her in ST captain, not all-rounder, because since her release, she's a treasure map legend. She's only been good for her one treasure map. So, kind of sucky there, but look, it is what it is with this kind of stuff, because that's the way the cookie crumbles with just treasure map characters in general. So, Bonnie, I really like Bonnie. I think Bonnie is absolutely fantastic. I think she's a great legend. I'm just waiting for that content to come out that kind of sets her over the edge and makes her incredibly powerful. Like, insanely powerful. Honestly, like, I would love to put her, like, here, if I'm completely honest. I think she's a god tier character. When we get some more, like, you hybrid these two characters up right here, these two right here, and you're cooking. Like, you're doing some crazy ass things. So, I think you have to use her as a captain, but to get the full effectiveness out of her. But she kind of does some stuff that Yamato can do as well with that increased damage taken. So, I really want to put her up here. Like, I really, really do. So, I think I might leave her in god tier. I think she's that good. I think she can provide so much damage to what this Luffy can do. And like I said, as a captain, chain boundary, color affinity, increased damage taken, very niche buffs that the side area kind of needed. So that's really, really good to see. Let's make our way down to the bottom for the last character that we're going to talk about today, which is Mr. Jack. The new Jack is a driven striker in character. It's such a Y character coming out for the pre-anniversary. Reduces cooldowns of all characters by 1 turn at the start of the fight. Boosts the attack int striker driven by 5 times. Boosts the HP by 1.5. Makes strength, int, and tandem orbs beneficial for those types and classes. And when enemy is inflicted with increased damage taken, increases their attack by 1.1. And if it's delay, reduced defense, poison, paralysis, all that other stuff, it's a 1.05 times buff on top of the 5. So maxing at 5.5 if you have increased damage taken to the enemy, and then it's like 5.25 if you have any other like conditional. Special reduces percent damage reduction by 6 turns, bind by 6 turns, attack down by 6 turns, reduces enemy striker and driven resistance by 30%, and if your crew has an attack up, orb, and chain lock when the special is activated, increase the boost effects of base attacks by plus 500, increases boost effects of chain lock buffs by 0.25, and increases the duration of chain lock limit boundary by 1 turn. Otherwise, sets the chain boundary at 2.75, maxing it 30 times for 2 turns. He's super, super special. Basically, you need any of the Beast Pirates, like the main ones, so like the Toby Ropo and the Headliners, as well as Kaido. And Jack's super special. Inflicts all enemies with increased damage taken by 2 times for 1 turn. Reduces all defense by enemies by 100%, and changes the orb of this character to a tandem slot, and transforms all driven characters into super driven as well. So super driven, as well as having a super tandem ability. His support, though, goes on any of Kaido, King, and Queen. Once per adventure, when the supported character uses their special, boost attack against enemies inflicted with increased damage taken by 1.3 for 1 turn. He's super tandem. At level 5, you need any 2 of the following characters, and any 2 of the following characters is basically all you need for all of them. So, which is pretty cool. So, like, his condition doesn't change. It's just what he does actually changes. At level 5, he ignores defense reduction, debuff, and reduces all enemies' defense by 80% for 1 turn, and then boosts the attack of driven characters by 1.75. At level 1, he reduces the defense by 50% for 1 turn, and then he boosts the tandem attack of driven characters by 1.25 times. So that works incredibly nicely for his captain to get that extra damage. As you can see, though, if you guys have been following the game for a little while, you've saw the last month's release of Killer, and you remember Verse Kaido. This guy is Verse Kaido's best friend. Like, where's Verse Kaido? We're gonna slap him next to Verse Kaido for a second. Jack kind of makes Verse Kaido like a little bit relevant in my opinion, because what you can do with these 3 characters right here is kind of nuts. You can pop the Jack special. That'll give you the chain boundary because you won't have the attack, orbs, and chain lock. But now Jack is the chain lock. After you've done that, you can rock this bad boy right here. Get yourself the craziness that he provides of his attack and orb buff. give 20 turns of cooldown to Jack, and then you can pop Jack once again. Friggin' awesome, right? Once you've done that, before you pop Jack, you pop Killer. Killer's going to be your base attack boost, and I'm pretty sure Killer's color affinity as well as a conditional boost to defense down. And then you use Jack once again. Jack increases the base attack, he increases the chain boundary shenanigans, and you can do some really, really fun stuff there. Then you get your super tandem ability popping off with Jack, because you just literally need one other unit to proc it, because you're already using Verse Kaido. And if you run the hybrid captains with Jack, Killer, and Verse Kaido as a sub, you get Super Driven, and I think you get Super Striker, and then you get like a minus 60% resistance as well. The stuff you do with these three, like in terms of damage output, is going to be absolutely wild. I'm praying I pick one of these up on Anniversary so I can run this combination, if not both, because I have a feeling that Super Boss, we are going to see this. But if I've got one in the section, I'm gonna put them all together. Like the three of these guys is just gonna do some really, really cool stuff. Like some really, really cool stuff. If this combination goes absolutely wild, like for late game, like I'm gonna put it higher. But for a mid game player and like a newer player, like having these characters should not be a priority, because trying to then like weasel out the team, having Jack at Super Tandem level 5, or even having like and having like the final taps of these two max, like you have to do some funky stuff there as well. So the three of them though, very, very good, like very, very good. If not, like you could probably argue that the three of them deserve to be there with how good the combination is, which I'm probably gonna do. Like I'm probably gonna put the three of them there. I know I dropped them from like there, and like look, don't come at me for that, but I think they definitely deserve the credit where credit is due. I definitely want to drop some more characters from here. I just don't know who, but I guess we'll deal with that next month. But that's going to wrap up the tier list for this month, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to go down there and belt the like button for me if you're new to the channel. If you haven't done so already, hit that big red subscribe button. Most importantly, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.